crossbow hanging out in the corner. Division is
nice.
That's a big hit. Division there. 2, 1. That's the fight.
Hey there, this is Seth Schaefer from Team Just Cause Robotics, and today you'll finally get to see my event recap from Norwalk Havoc event on February 6th, 2021. I put a lot of work into my 3-pound robot division between this event and the last one. Check the links in the description for more about that. If you haven't seen one of my event recaps before, I also encourage you to watch my last recap from November 2020, when I explain a lot more about the Norwalk Havoc Robot League and its unique setup and rules. This time around, NHRL has expanded into a new facility and built an arena suitable for full combat 30-pound featherweight robots. So at this competition, 3-pound, 12-pound, 12-pound sportsmen, and 30-pound bots were all run. I got to fight with all of my robots, Division as a 3-pound Beetleweight, Mini Mulcher as an optional 1-pound Antweight Minibot, and Draconid as a 12-pound sportsman bot. I have a lot of fights to get through, so let's jump in. If I were to include the fights from both Draconid and Division in this one video, it would end up being almost an hour long, so I'm splitting this up into 2 different videos. Make sure that you like this video and subscribe so that you can get notified, and hit the bell icon to make sure it shows up in your feed when I release my next video showing all of Draconid's fights in the 12-pound sportsman class. Right now, you're going to see all of Division's fights in the 3-pound class, and at least one of them will contain my 1-pound Minibot, Mini Mulcher. For my first fight, I was up against Eruption. Eruption is a 4-wheel drive beater bar bot, which is really compact and inspired heavily by Lynx, the robot that won the last competition I was at in November. Lynx is also a 4-wheel drive beater, but unlike Lynx, Eruption has a custom-built hub motor setup powering their drum, whereas Lynx uses a belt drive. I was thinking this might mean that his weapon wouldn't be as reliable or as powerful as Lynx's, but well, you'll just have to watch and find out.
And Bloodsport's team member this season.
Absolutely.
This division is running a brand new weapon. We've never seen this before in the box. He built this in the off season.
It looks wicked, and the drive on division working great. Well, drive on both of these bots looking great.
Yep.
Little twitch test on the weapons there. I mean, that weapon looks so wicked. That looks like something that like a Klingon would pull out of their back pocket and go at you with.
Now, Eruption.
All right,
like
so we're getting word that both these bots are ready to go. We can start this countdown.
Got it.
Very excited about this fight. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fight, robots, fight! Oh my goodness, taking out the camera with that hit. And there you see the camera lying in the box. Division stuck up against the wall doing its classic dance across the box when it gets end over end. It always finds its base though. Boom, nice big hit from Eruption. They seem to be controlling the pace of this match. Really controlling where Division goes. Eruption doing some fantastic work. Division stuck in the corner. Doesn't seem like their weapon is going. Let's see if they can get that fired up. But it might be down for the count. And Eruption's game right now. Division stuck in the corner. Are they able to move? Let's go. Start. Oh, we got a tap out. Tap out from Division there. All right, so that was quick and easy. Eruption dominated that match in every way.
So yeah, obviously this fight did not go to plan for me at all. You can see the stream cut out a few times, but fortunately I had this separate camera angle. I was recording with my Sony ZV-1 at 120 frames per second, so you can enjoy some slow-mo of these pretty dangerous hits. So right off the bat, I got pretty unlucky getting launched into the camera and then ending up with my front to the wall, making it, and my back to Eruption, basically meaning I had nowhere to go. For here, he hit my weapon, or my power switch. And then here, where my bot's just like kind of stuck, there's nothing I could really do. Every time I got back onto my 2 wheels, all I could do is just try and keep facing him. And really early on, when he hit the side of my bot, I was only on one side drive, essentially, even though the wheel was still attached. So yeah, I just didn't really have an answer to anything he was doing. The weapon was kind of out of commission at this point, and I really just had no control over anything that was going on. Here he took out the washer on my other wheel. You can see that after this hit here, washer's off, and now I can't drive on either side. So at this point I just tapped out because I knew there was nothing I could do and I was just done.
Oh
Seth,
man,
are those wedges bent up?
here, come on over here and grab the
Titanium
microphone.
forks,
Hang out with us for a
okay.
second, if you don't mind.
All right, we've
Did
got
not
Seth,
go well.
Seth Schaefer and Division. Wow, look at these. These are titanium forks. Is that right?
Yep. Apparently way too thin, but yes. They hit me exactly where my power switch is mounted, which somehow didn't kill the robot, but my weapon, ESC, disarmed. And then after the fight was over, I literally just heard it play the arming tones again. So it probably works now,
Yeah.
Ah,
but I have no idea why it quit.
Yeah. It looks like you lost a wheel as well. So like cut through the hub.
This
Is that right?
came loose. Oh, geez. All the screws holding the motor on just sheared. That's fun.
Wow.
oh wow, yeah. Fun.
Um,
Discovering damage right here at the announcer's table
Yep.
with us. So
That's
that's
no fun.
so what happens when you go back to the pits?
Well, I have a second robot ready to go, so I'll be ready for the next fight. But unfortunately, this camera got in my way a bunch during the fight, too. I think I hit it like 3 times.
Wow.
one of the
Do,
things.
Yeah.
We go through cameras quite a lot here at these competitions,
Yeah.
and this one was completely demolished by your fight there.
Yeah, we'll see what
I
happens.
do like the shape of your new weapon here.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, it took a hit on the side here and still didn't bend, so that's kind of what I was going for, is to use this against, like, really anything, but it's especially designed to go well against horizontals because the tooth recedes away, so there's nothing for them to hit except for me to hit them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with another weapon that's like half the diameter of mine, I'm always going to get uppercut against it, so it's really
Yeah.
hard to fight smaller verts.
Yeah. Well, for people on YouTube who have been following along with your Division builds, I think it's very thrilling to see it actually in the box.
Yeah, I was hoping it would put on a better show than this, but I'll be back.
Yeah, absolutely. We love the bot and love the builder. Good luck back in the pits.
Thank you.
My name is Brian Voxel. My robot is Eruption right here. I just fought Division. So I had a pretty solid idea of what I wanted to do going into this fight. I had seen in Division's previous matches that when it spins up, it has a tendency to lean back. So I figured if I box rush and just got to him as quick as possible, because I know my robot's fast, then I would catch him while he's still spinning up and send him backwards, which basically went according to plan.
When you hit the back, you hit the screws that hold my power switch in, which somehow didn't turn the robot off, but made it very difficult to turn off at the end of the fight. And the forks got bent all over the place, so I basically couldn't drive with the left side that may or may not have still been working. And all of the motor screws sheared, so I couldn't actually use my weapon anymore. So basically couldn't do anything.
So as for damage to Eruption, all I can really find on it, I haven't done a full strip down of the robot yet, but just some chunks out of the sides here, and some dents to the 4140 weapon. If you see that the back is exposed, I just took the battery out, so that's off right now.
We got a little nick here, but mostly it was all weapon to weapon because I had no control over where I was facing. There's a little nick on the side here somehow. I don't really know where that got, but it clearly the CPU. Yeah, that was a great fight though.
It was awesome.
You
That was a lot of
definitely
fun.
kicked my butt. Alright.
Good luck.
Good luck. Alright, so this is after the fight with Eruption. This gearbox split completely because I think it got hit directly on the shaft and shoved the shaft straight back, which is pretty much the worst possible thing that could happen. But the rest of the gears seem to be spinning and operating just fine. So there's that. The weapon locked up because all 4 of the screws that hold the motor on sheared. So that's fun. So this pulls straight out now. I think that I set this clutch, the slip pulley way too tight and it just didn't slip. Instead it just like destroyed itself. You can see all those screws. And yeah, that's fun. This drive side I think is fine. And then he hit the screws that hold my switch in directly, so it split the switch completely in half, and it was really hard to turn off, but I managed it. But yeah, he pretty much hit like this spot, which is like the worst possible spot to hit, and here, which is like the second worst possible spot to hit, and then his hits on the weapon were bad times. So they just like destroyed the motor. Also, I heard after the fight this ESC play its little song like it had just turned off and back on, which is an issue I have had before. but it was only after the weapon got jammed and was continuously trying to spin after it jammed for a while. So I'm not sure if that happened or not, but I think the ESC should be fine. I'll test it in a second.
It's great to see everybody's faces. Do you want to say anything else about something that you've seen so far?
That works. Both drive sides work. Hard to tell, but these coils right here, they're burned and blackened. I have no idea what happened.
The way this competition went, I actually had 3 fights with Division in a row before Draken had made it into the box. That first fight with Eruption took place at 11:38 a.m. Next up, we have Division fighting a melty brain chain flail spinner called Doom. This was another first-time competitor, and Doom was driven by a young kid who was there with his dad. They were also great sports and wanted to put on a show. Although they might have seemed severely outmatched by Division, my bot has a history of killing itself, so you never know what might happen. Although this was 2 hours after the Eruption fight, my main bot still wasn't totally together. Although I'd been working diligently to repair it, I didn't quite have enough time, so having a spare robot ready proved invaluable here. There was, however, an Achilles heel to the spare robot.
Different weapon on
Different
Division.
weapon, that's right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fight, robots, fight! Division getting spun up, and there we go. We see Doom trying to get the flail moving. Division, oh my. It appears as though the frame from Doom is compacted underneath the robot. They are not able to use their wheels because they're high centered on their frame that holds those flails. Division trying to be helpful, but also doing quite a bit of plastic damage, riding into the back of them. Doom, we're going to need to see some kind of movement. Show motion has been put up. We're coming down to the end of the bar. 3, 2, 1. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's moving. It's moving. We've got movement before the end of that bar, which is fantastic. And there we go. The flail's going. Oh, and there goes onto the wheels. And that's beautiful. So they're only on one wheel. Doom is only on one wheel, but they're still able to get the Melty Brain going. We've seen that in their last match. And there they go. They're flipped up on their side again. It is not a safe place for Doom to be with those 2 frame brackets bent up like that. They're only able to drive on one side of the robot. They're not able to be inverted. Whoa, that was a big hit. The flail on Doom actually able to get some hits in on Division, but Division's blade is just too powerful. Division giving itself a little damage over there in the corner of the box. 1 minute left in this fight. Doom trying to get some emotion, but it's very hard to direct your Melty Brain when you've only got one wheel. Division trying to pick its shot, trying to find a right way to get in. Seems like they might be having some trouble on one side of their drive. Nice hit from Division. Oh, it looks like Doom's doing the thing. Is Doom able to get over? Yes, Doom's able to get over. Doom, are you able to show us some movement? All right, it's time to get moving. We got the show motion bar coming onto the screen. Oh, we're coming down to halfway on that show motion bar. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. That's it. That is a knockout. A little assist there from Brett the Brick, but a little bit too late.
Yep.
And Doom was knocked out in that fight.
Seeing some good gyro dancing from Division.
Division does some of the best gyro dancing in this tournament, quite frankly. That was a great showing by Division. They did an excellent job in that match. I think that that went very, very well for them. Chef Schaefer did a fantastic job driving. Doom's frames got bent up real early on, and that made it very difficult for them to control the bot. And then once they lost the wheel, I think it was all over from there.
So this fight went way better than the last one. Even though I was using my spare robot, which, like I said, wasn't at 100% of the capabilities of the main bot, and I was using a weapon that wasn't really suitable for fighting this type of robot with their Kevlar composite armor. I still was able to control the fight because, well, Doom wasn't exactly a bot built to control fights. Pretty early on, as you could see, my weapon hitting their steel side guards vertically bent them up, so when they were upside down, they just couldn't really move. And I asked the builders if they wanted to keep going, and they said yes, so we kept the fight going. And from that point on, I basically just was determined to either destroy them, let them tap out, or let the fight go the 3 minutes. So from this point on, you can see there are a ton of points where older versions of Division probably would have gotten stuck and had the weapon just quit. But this version, it just kept going and going and going, getting unstuck from the weirdest positions, having the weapon torque do everything it was meant to do with the new upgraded motor, and the weapon setup was just bulletproof in this fight. It was fantastic. Granted, I was running it at a pretty low speed percentage, maybe like 25 to 50% for pretty much the whole fight, because I wasn't looking to ceiling shot their bot 50 times and just completely demolish it. But I also found I was able to control my robot with steering a lot more easily when my weapon wasn't going at full speed the whole time anyway. You can see moments like this, the spin-up time on the weapon is just so insane that it'll just torque the entire chassis around the weapon if the robot's in midair. So that's why I have those front forks in the first place, to prevent the chassis from somersaulting forwards every time the weapon spins up. It was right around this point, in a couple hits after this, that you can see the problem that I was having with this version of the robot. So here I'm getting kind of stuck on my back and his chain gets in the weapon, but as soon as it's free, the weapon spins up and I can just launch myself back onto my wheels. However, there are a couple exchanges, and then right here he hits me into the wall, and then I've lost the drive side. So what happened here was I have a custom designed 3D printed gearbox that is mated to an 1806 brushless motor which drives both of the wheels on Division. So each wheel has its own independent gearbox and motor, of course, and the gearboxes require that a pinion gear is attached to the motor's shaft. And I've ordered some new gear sets to build enough gearboxes to have a spare robot, but the new gear sets that I ordered, unlike the last set, the pinions didn't press onto the motor shafts, they actually slipped on. So I tried to solder the pinions to the motor shafts to keep them on, and that solder just gave out, and that's why I lost drive on my right side here. Sadly, I wasn't able to catch up with the guys who built Doom after this fight to get a post-fight interview or damage pictures, as they left shortly after this, but they were great sports and it was a really fun fight. Next, we have a fight between Division and Crossbow. This fight was going to be a bit of a rematch, as I had fought Alexander Richmond previously with his Vector Kit Sea Devil in the November Norwalk Havoc event. That fight ended with Division wrecking Sea Devil's frame and bending its weapon. Let's see what happens this time with Crossbow, a very different design, although still made from Vector Kit parts.
1, fight robots, fights! Crossbow hanging out in the corner, but one of those weapons made contact. Crossbow was the one that was not happy about it. They seem to have landed directly on their weapon. Are they able to move? Division seems to be trying to give them a little aggressive assist. Oh, that's a tap out from Crossbow. And there we get to see the full destructive capability of Division, just ripping the entire drive side off of Crossbow.
Yeah, Crossbow.
Wow.
Taking that bot home in a bag.
That is a big hit. When you've got big weapons going into contact with each other like that, you know, somebody's going to get the worst end of it. And sometimes that comes down to chance. In this particular case, though, I think Division was just a little bit more sturdy, a little bit better of a build. And
Kyle, I think that the wheels aren't supposed to be kind of like at that angle, right? It looks
that
like
little dangly angle? No,
Yeah.
dangle is not the angle.
No, that's right. Wow.
Very excited. So
Look at this.
Division
Great
performing
job,
the way
Seth.
you like now, says Seth. You want to come over? Come
Yeah,
on over,
Seth,
say hi.
Come on over. Yeah.
I did the thing.
Yeah. Here, grab this.
Okay, yeah. All right,
Yeah.
so in my last fight, I got hit on these two screws right here, which are the ones that mount the switch. So
Okay.
my switch literally split in half, and somehow the robot stayed on.
Wow.
All four of the screws holding the weapon motor on ripped out. I had him hit directly straight on the end of the shaft of this drive gearbox, which popped the end of the gearbox out, but the drive motor and the gearbox were still otherwise intact. And this one's a little weird, but it still seems to work. I had to basically replace the back panel, rewire the switch, replace this gearbox entirely.
Wow.
I had to take off the upright, countersink it deeper so the screws engaged more in the weapon motor, and then reattach that. I basically replaced, like, 3 out of the 8 panels that hold this whole thing together.
Now, what's the strategy when you've got this big vertical spinner going up against another vertical spinner like Crossbow?
So basically, I saw at the start he was spinning up super slow, so I just wanted to get over there and knock him around and make sure that he wasn't hitting me straight on, because I mean he could easily hit the pulley here and just cut my belt and that would be it. So I basically just wanted to get him on the back foot, and then I just kept going at him because I knew he wasn't going to be able to move otherwise, and that would be a really lame end to the fight.
Yeah. A lot of destruction in that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So were you aiming for the wheel on Crossbow?
Yeah. I mean, the wheels is usually a good target for something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it would rip the entire side off, but...
Now, people who've been watching your journey through YouTube know that every single time that you come out and fight Division, it's getting better and better and better. What's new with this Division?
So, these 2 weapon uprights are brand new. I switched from a 2836 motor to a different brand's 2814, which is actually instead of a 30 millimeter diameter can, it's a 35 millimeter diameter can, and it has about twice as much torque as it did before. I'm running on 4S instead of 3S, so the drive is just unbelievably, uncontrollably fast, which is why I have it tuned down to 70%. And this weapon motor is an 1850 kV instead of the 3000 kV I was going before. So the weapon actually spins slower than it did before, but it has twice as much torque, so self-riding is not a problem at all as long as the motor stays, attached to the frame.
All right.
Hi, I'm Alex Richmond, and this is Crossbow.
Yes, we have met before. Unfortunately, when I was fighting Sea Devil, it didn't get quite this beat up, though. So you want to walk me through the fight from your perspective?
I tried to back up into the wall, and I wanted you to run out my force, but that didn't work too well.
Yeah. And what was going on with the weapon? It seemed like it took forever to spin up.
The pulley was sliding, and it actually got caught in the mount, so now it doesn't move. It's blocked up the bar.
That sucks.
So I was able to spin, and then he just came around my side.
Yeah. The back is cracked all the way through. Oh, both sides.
Cracked both sides, but the only thing holding them is the bottom panel.
Oh my god.
And this is the top panel.
This is the gourmet damage that we're
Just shredded my TPU.
Oh, I almost did to you what Eruption did to me with the switch too. Holy. This is one of the in-bus lightning motors.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously this fight went pretty great for me, and not so much for Crossbow, unfortunately for him, but Division proved that it could do what it needed to do even against a robot with a weapon that could potentially kill it. Though granted, his robot wasn't driving super well, and it wasn't such an unbelievable back and forth, it was still a good testament to the kind of damage that Division's oversized weapon can dish out. Next up, we have my final fight with Division against Bison. This is also kind of a rematch of sorts. The very first fight that the very first version of Division ever had was against Trident, which was a bot built by the same builder, Drew Davis, as this robot here, Bison. Bison had, at previous competitions, been driven by Drew Davis's son, but he was driving it himself during this one, so it was going to be a tough fight for sure. Now, because I brought Minimulcher along, I felt like I needed to use it in at least one fight, and I felt that it would probably be a good idea to use it in this one, where the other robot I was facing didn't have a weapon that could destroy it. Unfortunately for me, though, I had to hand the controller off to my friend Aaron, who had never driven the robot before and had no experience controlling it, and it's somewhat difficult to control with the weapon spinning up and it starting to glide all over the floor, so I wasn't exactly prepared for what was going to happen.
3, 2, 1, fight robots, fight! Nice move there from Bison, pushing Division over into the corner. Bison's entire objective in this fight is to try to get Division to damage themselves. They're going to flip them up into walls. They're going to use their wedge to try to push them into walls. Bison trying to get a good angle, get away from Division. What happened
Kyle.
to the wheel?
Division's lost a wheel.
Division has lost the wheel. Nice
that's
hit
a big
from
hit.
Division there. Can Bison self-right? They're trying. There we go. Bison self-righted. Mini Mulcher not doing any. There we go. Mini Mulcher sped up. Bison says, all right, that's fine. I'll flip you both. No big deal. Division stuck up on the wall. Can they get? Yes, they can get themselves down. The power of that weapon definitely lets them do it. Division can definitely gyro walk. Not a problem for them, especially with all the forces coming out of that spinner. And they just got a great hit on the back of Bison, chipping away pieces of plastic. Division trying to get itself into a good angle. Very difficult when it's only on one wheel. Basically trying to gyro dance itself into a good position. And now it's stuck on the wall.
Oh.
Oh, that was not good. Mini Mulcher was a casualty of that exchange there. Bison kind of stuck underneath the side. Looks like he's going to get a little help from Brett, or maybe a little bit more stuck from Brett. Not really sure how that's going to work. There we go. Bison's out. Their wedge got caught underneath the side of the box, and now they're moving around. Division attempting to spin around, so the front of their weapon is facing towards Bison. Bison saying, I don't want that. Bison's definitely got the wedge game here. He's able to get underneath Division, underneath those little wedgelets. That was a cool move from Bison there, but Division actually bounced off the wall, bounced into Bison's horns, and then bounced back into the wall.
40 seconds left in this match, Kyle. And Bison is really getting low here.
And there he goes. Bison just lost one of its horns. 30 seconds left in this match. Division doing a beautiful gyro dance around the box, trying to get forward facing on Bison, having not very much luck. Trying to go backwards into Bison, not having a lot of luck there. He's getting flipped by Bison, and there goes another wheel. Division wheel is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the fight. This will go to the judge's decision. At the end of that fight, Division was wheelless. Bison lost a little bit of plastic and lost a horn.
I think Division still has one wheel. I think if we were to zoom in on it, but yeah, it lost its first wheel pretty early in that match. All right, honor up to the judges. Who wants to go first? Yes.
Can I start by saying that Mini Mulcher should be the one who wins that? I cannot believe it survived 2 hits from Division.
That's true.
All right.
I guess I'll continue with the actual decision. So I think at the beginning, Division definitely was on top. However, after he lost that wheel, I have to give the control and regression to Bison. Bison stayed on him the whole time, successfully pushed him around, even flipped Division back onto its own weapon a couple times. So I'm going to go with Bison, although in reality, Mini Mulcher won that.
If only Minibots could win.
Yeah, if only Minibots could win. All right, honor up to Don. How about you, Don? Your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, once Division lost the wheel, it pretty much lost any control it could possibly get in the rest of the match, which gave Bison the ability to push it, and which basically made it lose control whenever the weapon hit the wall, or I think one time it flipped it, and then it just went kamikaze. So I'm giving it to Bison.
All right, that's 2 judges' votes for Bison. Zach, will you make it unanimous, or will this be a split decision?
I have to give it to Bison too. I think he even kind of has the edge on damage for feeding Mini Mulcher into Division, kind of like friendly fire style. He did lose the one horn, but other than that, there was no real substantive damage to Bison, and clearly he controlled the whole fight, especially after he lost. Yep, I gotta go Bison also.
All right, unanimous decision for Bison.
Absolutely.
Fantastic work from Drew Davis, our teacher from Schenectady.
Yeah, this was just a case of poor driving decisions and a poor choice to even put Mini Malter in the box with Division in the first place when it doesn't have wheel guards. It's really hard to keep track of 3 bots in the arena at once. It's hard enough to just keep track of your own bot when it's a robot like Division that just throws itself all over the frickin' box all the time. So I accidentally drove into Mini Mulcher, clipped a wheel hub, and ripped the hub in half. I lost that wheel, and that was pretty much it for the rest of the fight. I was intentionally running the weapon backwards at some points to try and make gyroing backwards into him do some damage, but the shape of my weapon, that wasn't really going to happen, and it just made it look like I was completely out of control. That wheel was one that was already on the floor. I still had my other wheel attached and could still drive and stuff, but when I reversed the weapon here and I was bouncing around violently, I actually got that left side, or the right side fork bent underneath my robot, and then I was actually completely immobilized. So I think Bison did deserve the win here. I'm not going to dispute that.
Alright, so my name is Andrew. Alright, I build Bison and Jack Move, which didn't fare so well over there. Just had a fight with Division and Mini Mulcher, right?
Yep.
This is...
Certainly got some nicks on it. That's all about carbon fiber damage there.
Yeah.
But it held up really well.
Held up well. Kept its drive. These cheetah print wedgelets worked pretty well, actually. It's my first time using it.
Wow.
Some good nick here, yeah. Good one there.
Gouge.
Yep.
But it survived.
Yep, ripped off a horn.
Not too much damage, all things considered, though.
Yeah, not too much. That held up. It was a fun fight.
Yeah,
it was a fun fight. A lot of back and forth, a lot of...
Oh my god. Was that Mini Mulcher?
Where? Oh, right here? I have no... Oh, yeah. Probably has to be, right? Yeah.
That's the thing. Holy crap.
Yeah, it must have got me.
Yeah, geez. Not too bad, though, all things
Not too
considered.
bad, yeah.
All right. Good luck in the rest of the tournament.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Thank you. All right.
Just finished the fight with Bison. Unfortunately, Mini Mulcher decimated one of my wheel hubs to cut it in half. And then this fork bent under my one good wheel towards the very end, but that didn't really kill me. I couldn't drive very well with just one drive side, unfortunately. It was not having a good time trying to gyro around for whatever reason. I've been more mobile doing that before, but lots of fun. I screwed myself by running Mini Mulcher at the start, so I don't blame him. But it was still a really fun fight, and Division mostly worked.
This video is already way too long, so I'm going to try and keep this brief. Yeah, this fight kind of sucked for me. If I hadn't put Mini Mulcher in, I am reasonably confident that I could have probably turned this one around. But as it stands, Bison deserved the victory with how the fight actually played out. So I'm looking forward to possibly having a rematch with them sometime. This fight still did prove a few elements of the design changes that I made worked, though it still showed one other big flaw. What worked was being able to reverse the weapon to be able to get myself unstuck from sticky situations. You can see here, this is the kill shot, basically, where Mini Mulcher took off Division's wheel hub, and then I subsequently lost the wheel. So Division was able to be pretty mobile. Mini Mulcher, not so much, because its drive is really, really slow, and I'm planning on already upgrading the drive on Mini Mulcher in the future so it can actually stand on its own as an ant weight instead of just being basically a barely mobile arena hazard alongside Division in the Beetleweight category. Though I was impressed. Mini Mulcher didn't take 0 damage, but its weapon system held up, and all but it launching itself into the ceiling had no real visible damage on the outside of the robot. It turns out the shaft support on Mini Mulcher's weapon actually did break, but I've already changed the design of the chassis so that it supports it at the top using the lid, so even a PLA version that I built doesn't break itself by doing that anymore. And the fact that it survived multiple Division hits is already pretty freaking impressive, not to mention roof-shotting itself at the end of the fight. So I'm pretty happy with how Mini Mulcher did. I think it proved that it's more than capable as an ant-weight robot. Division, also pretty happy with how it did. This is what I was talking about, I think, right about here. So I was trying to gyro backwards into Bison. I ended up getting stuck with my forks propped up on the wall. So what I did here is I actually reversed the weapon and caused it to stall instantly, which launched my robot off the wall so I could get unstuck. And then you can see I got stuck kind of here again. This time just spinning up the weapon normally, I was able to get unstuck from the gyroscopic forces there, even though I ended up careening backwards into Mini Mulcher. That didn't do anything to Division or to Mini Mulcher, it seems, except for flipping Mini Mulcher over. So yeah, Mini-Mulcher being unable to self-right here, a little weird. I think I just had the self-righting Talon pointed the wrong way, because I was able to get it to self-right just fine when I put it back together afterwards, but Division still proved to be very durable, other than the wheel hubs being kind of an obvious weak link. So that's probably the main thing, other than the titanium forks, that I want to improve with the next version of Vision. The wheel hub's a little bit too vulnerable right now, and the titanium forks are just way too flexible, and more importantly, when they're flexing, they're staying bent, which the previous versions just broke off, and that didn't really hinder my driving as much, it just hindered my weapon spin up. But with the forks bent, it really, really hinders my driving ability. So you can see towards the very end of the fight, I actually had the weapon spinning backwards intentionally to try and be able to do something, and instead I just ended up having my fork get bent forwards, or like downwards, so it got stuck underneath the one drive side I still had, and I completely lost mobility in the last like 5 seconds. So yeah, that was pretty lame, but otherwise, all of my weapon system changes, which were the main things I was concerned about with this version of Division, they all held up perfectly fine. The upgraded drive gearbox mounting, other than in the fight with Eruption, proved to work beautifully as well. So I really just have to figure out some changes to the wheel hubs to make them a bit less vulnerable, and maybe some new front armor configurations, possibly even with wraparound side armor that could function as wheel guards, but we'll see. As for the coming near future, I don't think that I'm going to be taking Division to the March Norwalk Havoc event, because I have to really start planning for moving right around the time that that event's going to happen. So I'm most likely going to be spending most of my time up until then just focusing on getting rid of all the things I don't want to take with me when I move. I will, however, try and keep making other videos that are unrelated to getting Division ready. And I've got a couple other projects planned, including all of those upgrades I talked about for Mini-Mulcher that I'm sure you'll be seeing more of shortly. Alright, that's all I have for you today. If you like this video, make sure to like it and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching!